We are back. What have we here? We got some Scaletrains Autoracks, and they are the Rivet counter version. I would have picked up some of the operators, just that the hobby shop I went to did not have any, so I just decided to pick up the Rivet counters. I think those will make a more close comparison to the Atlas, which recently came out. So there's been a lot of questions as to which one of these is actually better. There's been a couple videos discussing the two different versions of the Scaletrains, but this is going to be more of a head-to-head here versus the Atlas. So in terms of packaging, first most, that's not a word. I do like the Atlas packaging a little bit better. It's always easy when you can just pull off a box lid as opposed to having these flaps. Also, these aren't too bad, but in terms of stackability, sometimes when they have this plastic jacket there, they don't stack up too well. But that's a very, very minor concern there, and you're not buying it for the cardboard box that it comes in, you're buying it for the car. So let's unbox both of these and take a look. So got them on the track here, we're taking a look at them. And I did take a peek at some of the specs online. And these actually do have metal here on the sides, and it really, really looks good. I feel like the detail shows up a little bit better on this white one than what it does here on the typical TTX yellow. And that metal, you can see just the shine here. You can almost see the reflection of my finger in it. Looks really good. And here on the end, you can see some of this added detail that's not present on the Atlas. These do also have spinning bearing caps, but to be honest, I don't really feel like it's a necessary feature on these cars because you don't really see it. I feel like that's a little bit more valuable on tankers and hoppers and that sort of thing. But the sides of these kind of hang over them. Just doesn't really bring out that feature. Something they probably could have did without with and maybe saved a couple bucks on the price point would have been nice. But these guys are always aiming to make the highest quality model and most detailed that they can. They don't like to leave out details. So I can respect that. So let's take a look at the Atlas here again, which has drifted down the track. I would say the weights on these are very close. And it does have that little air hose hanging down on both of them. It's a little harder to see over here, but it does have it. I would say that putting the Scaletrains on the track is a little easier as well. I've gotten that little end there caught a couple times, and I feel like those are just going to break off after a certain amount of time. And you'll notice here on the end it doesn't have that same detail that the Scaletrains does. And they roll very nicely. Just for having 3 cars here, it's a respectable amount of weight. Now this is on 28 radius, and you'll see that even on 28 radius, it's not really on the center of the rail going around the corner. It's certainly worse on 26 and especially on 24. So they list the specs on these at recommended radius 26, minimum 24, and I could not agree more with that. Obviously, the bigger the better. So I decided to go with CN and CP. They had a orange BNSF there, but I already had that. There was also a white BNSF, but I just really couldn't bring myself to either buy two all white cars or buy all three and spend about $225. These cars were about $75, so that's pretty much the going rate. You won't do much better than that, but you'll certainly see them a couple bucks more than that. So can't complain about the price there, especially at a local hobby shop. That's pretty good. There is a little bit more choice and some schemes that are offered by Atlas that aren't out in the Scaletrains. So, you know, that may be sort of a reason to get some of the Atlases, but I think these will match up very, very well with the Intermountains that are out there that have the real etched metal on there. They don't have a see-through feature on here, but to be honest, that is not super important. They look good for sure. And I think these will match up even with older Walthers ones as well. And, you know, if you weather these a little bit and put some graffiti on them, not necessarily these, because these are meant to reflect ones that were built about 4 years ago. So I think it's 2015 and up represents when these were built. But some of the older ones, certainly graffiti them and weather them up a little bit, they'll match right in with these. So, you know, I would have to give this to Scaletrains, you know, just because it has mainly that real metal on here. You just can't beat that look. You can't duplicate it in plastic. And there's also some extra detail on here, and also the brake hoses that are below the coupler here. Seems to be easier to put them on track than what the Atlas is, but it's a very, very narrow margin of victory here. And like I said, for certain schemes, you'll still need to pick up some Atlas ones. So these will mix in. I'd say just go with whatever's available. You'll be happy with either of them. We're just going to do a little run by here. Long hood forward. So that is about it for this one. I mean, I definitely want to buy more of these. The only thing that kind of sucks about these is they are a little bit pricey, but you do also have to consider that this is a scale 89-foot car, and a lot of times that's almost twice the size as a normal HO car, so makes sense that it would be about twice as expensive as a normal HO car. So I definitely want to pick up some more of them, so maybe next pay, hopefully there's some of these left.